just to see if it works. I'm not sure it works. I'll check on my computer. Oh, it still doesn't work, see. Check if you're the right account. That's not the right account. You need to have the. You have several accounts, several video accounts.
It should appear here.
Okay. Maybe switch account, something like that. I don't know. It's in Greek, so. Switch account. There must be some switch accounts in here. No?
What?
Underneath.
I don't want to switch account. Alien is on my account.
What?
Yes.
One YouTube account can have several channels. You need to switch on the Alien channel.
Yes, but I don't see where the channels are.
Somewhere here. Somewhere you well. That's where you select the channels. It's actually there. I just switched my own channels. It's in change channels where we were before. But I don't know why you don't have the alien thing. Do you have a special login and password for this channel?
I need to cancel. It's just not working.
That's what you're looking for.
Yes, I know. Channel. But where is it?
Okay.
Tell me, because I don't find it.
See? Hariklia Tsalapatas.
Yes,
this
I know.
Account.
Yeah, I know very well.
You don't have this account.
I know I don't have this account. I'm trying to log out and it doesn't let me log out. It's logged in as CTLL.
Log out.
I did log out. And I logged in as Hariklia. And it says I'm not like this. You saw me doing it. What's in this? Different account, this account, okay? I put my password, it tells me I am CTLL.
What the fuck is this CTLL account now? Why do you have that?
What?
Why does it even exist?
That's our problem now, why this exists?
Yeah, obviously. I don't know. What is that?
Delete it. Delete it, okay. You can delete it.
Yeah, it's a joke.
this account. No, wait a second.
Now you put it here, exactly. Good. Now to YouTube.
Where is it? Ah.
Doesn't matter, what? YouTube Studio. Okay. Now change. Change your name. Here, change account.
So what, I need to create it again?
I do not know. Do like before and access it, the current one.
It's red now, while it used to be black. I don't think anything will change, because the problem is not that.
That works.
But that's not what I want this.
Yes, well, one thing at a time. Okay. So now you're live, normal. Are you live? No, I don't see you. Ah, wait, I see you now. Okay, you're live.
But we have to give it the address, no?
It already has it. Let's see if it changes anything. No. Stop the live one. Okay, stop it. Change. Yes, I have it. It's not the same address. It's a different address. But I have it.
So what, it's streaming?
Yes.
So you can see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, so then
Let's see. I don't know how many people are there.
13.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know where they are. I don't know where people are.
We need to send them the new address.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What is the new address?
Here.
Is it on Skype?
Yes. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, this one.
You sending me something else?
Here, you have it on your screen. I can see your screen from here.
Yes.
Right click on it. And
This. Right?
the one I just sent you, which is a YouTube link.
Yes, it's a YouTube link. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, but do you have the old live stream?
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. Where is everybody?
Where is everybody?
Here in the live stream.
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yeah, but do you have the old live stream?
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. Where is everybody?
Where is everybody?
Here in the live stream.
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yes.
But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
Where is everybody?
You know that sign tree? That's why.
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yes.
But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
Where is everybody?
You know that sign tree? That's why.
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yes.
But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
Where is everybody?
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yes.
But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yes.
But we should.
Yeah, you have the old
Exactly.
live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No.
Yes.
But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No. But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No. But we should.
Yeah, you have the old live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No. But we should.
Yeah, you have the live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No. But we should.
Yeah, you have the live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we lost someone.
No. But we should. Okay, can we
Yeah,
try?
live stream.
Yes, it's a YouTube link.
Where everybody is. They close the chat. Where is everybody?
That's going to be very useful.
You know that sign tree?
It's not this.
Okay, so we lost some. Well, everybody sees. You know that sign? Okay, so we lost some. To see something that changes. Well, everybody sees. You know that sign? Okay, so we lost some. To see something that changes. Well, everybody sees. You know that sign? Okay, so we lost some. To see something that changes. Well, everybody sees. You know that sign?
Why don't I see that I see it on the screen?
Okay, so we lost some.
Hello, and good morning, everybody, or good evening for the people who are in Asia. And welcome to the first webinar of Project Alien. Hello, and Project Alien aims to introduce problem-based learning as a strategic pedagogical approach in engineering. Welcome to the first webinar. Today's webinar aims to discuss problem-based learning approaches and also to introduce Project Alien aims to introduce problem-based learning as a strategic pedagogical approach in engineering. Welcome to the first webinar. Today's webinar problem-based learning to discuss problem-based learning is a new methodology to introduce Project Alien, which uses built knowledge problem-based learning solved as a strategic pedagogical and artificial engineering. Well, they are inspired by real life. Problem-based learning discussed problem-based learning is a new methodology to introduce Project Alien, which uses built knowledge problem-based learning solved as a strategic pedagogical and artificial engineering. Well, they are inspired by real life. Problem-based learning.
Alien related. Now maybe it will go better. Wait a sec. Go ahead, Tuk.
Learners build knowledge in a manner that simulates future roles. Problem-based learning is applicable to both secondary and tertiary education.
I don't hear you anymore now. OCS is still working?
What?
I don't have the sound anymore. Before we had a feedback loop because, as I explained to you, you had playing a video. This video sound was fed directly into the stream, which itself was
I could
read.
hear it too.
So feedback.
I could hear it too.
So I close. That's why I close all the windows. But now I don't have sound anymore, which is strange because I was hearing you before. Talk again. I don't hear sound.
Problem-based learning goes beyond the development of basic knowledge. It helps build transversal competencies such as creativity and critical thinking. It deploys exploration, and through exploration, it promotes independent learning. It encourages students to evaluate information that stems from different sources, and it is an inherently collaborative approach that promotes working in groups. At the end of a problem-based learning session, learners are encouraged to discuss and justify their solutions to their peers.
Okay, continue.
Problem-based learning differs from traditional education. In traditional education, the educator transfers information to the students. This relationship between the educator and the students is evident in the classroom setup, where the educator is opposite to the students. Learners in traditional education learn passively. They memorize and repeat information. This does not mean that traditional education does not have its merits. The concept behind traditional education is that information is transferred from short-term memory to long-term memory through practice, and that is why traditional education introduces drills. Problem-based learning has its origins in medical education in 1960. It was first introduced at McMaster University in Hamilton. Curriculum developers realized that the content of education in the first 3 years was not related to practical clinical medicine. So they introduced a new curriculum in which students were exposed to the more practical use of medical knowledge, and they used this knowledge in a manner that simulated how, in the way that they were going to use it as doctors in the future. Students were exposed to actual patient cases, and they were encouraged to participate in the diagnosis process and in establishing a therapy. 80% of medical schools in the USA today apply this method. Problem-based learning is applicable in STEM and engineering education, where typically students use problems, but it is also applicable in other fields, such as law education and entrepreneurship education. In these fields, students build knowledge through cases, and in these cases, they see what has worked in the past and what is something that they can learn from this. Problem-based learning is also applicable in social sciences, where students are challenged to introduce solutions to social issues. Problem-based learning is linked to the Education and Training 2020 objectives of the European Commission. These objectives state that education needs to be linked to real life and align competencies and skills to the needs of society and industry. In this manner, education builds civically active professionals that have the skills for tackling 21st century challenges. In addition, education needs to build both basic competencies, meaning languages, mathematics, and science, and also transversal competencies such as analytical thinking, creativity, and entrepreneurial thinking. Problem-based learning achieves all of the above, and this happens because problem-based learning is based on problems or challenges that are inspired by the real world. And for this reason, it links education to the real life. In addition, it can benefit from open, innovative practices and from digital solutions that enrich the interactivity in the classroom and promote the engagement of students. How is problem-based learning used? Very simply, we first need to understand what is the initial knowledge that students have and what is the desired knowledge that we want to reach. In between, the educator builds the activities that will help develop the knowledge that students need for solving a problem. Typical steps for problem-based learning is that at the beginning of the process, the educator, a lot of the time with the collaboration of the students, defines the learning objectives. The students state the assumptions that they have in relation to solving a problem, and then they perform individual research for finding information that will help them provide a solution. Individual research is followed by collaboration, in which students brainstorm, and typically the instructor is there to guide. Students evaluate information, and through a process of synthesis, they introduce a solution and present the results to their peers. Collaboration is very important in problem-based learning. Typically, collaboration takes place in small groups, and each group member has a role, which may change during the implementation. Examples of such roles include the coordinator, or being a researcher, an evaluator of information,
a specialist with specialized knowledge, or a finisher, someone that finishes a final product. The educator's role is very important in problem-based learning. While this approach is very student-centered, meaning that it moves the responsibility from the educator to the student, the educator is very important because he or she guides students, supports them, builds their self-confidence, broadens their understanding of concepts by answering questions, and in general coordinates the learning process. The benefits of problem-based learning are many. Most important, it focuses on the comprehension of concepts and not so much on the memorization of facts. It promotes positive attitudes towards learning, and this is achieved by putting the responsibility to students and promoting internal motivation. It supports lifelong learning because it encourages students to be independent and set their own growth goals. It introduces a more fruitful relationship between learners and educators, and it builds higher order thinking skills such as creativity and critical thinking. But most importantly, the benefit of problem-based learning is that it links education to real life, and it facilitates the transferability of knowledge from the classroom to the real world, which is one of the objectives and challenges of higher education. Problem-based learning is part of a wider framework that is called active learning. Active learning is again a methodological approach in which students learn by doing something more than listening and observing. It is more direct and explorative and encourages students to do, create, and think about their actions in order to make sure that their choices are conscious. Students go through a process of analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of information, and through this process they develop knowledge, practical skills, and positive attitudes. There are many ways that someone can perform active learning. One of them is role-playing, adopting roles, or exploring and discussing, or visiting sites of interest, or solving problems, which is where problem-based learning comes into the picture. While these approaches are very different, they all have some common characteristics. They put the higher responsibility on students on their own learning, and they use open-ended activities, meaning that there is not one single correct answer, but students are encouraged to think about what they do. Students participate in the design of the activities, and they can influence the content and the pace of learning, and in this way education is more personalized. Problem-based active learning is very relevant to the taxonomy that the researcher Bloom introduced, that is a pyramid where at each level is a higher understanding of the subject that is under consideration. At the most simple steps, a student can remember and understand information, and after the student understands the information, then the next step in the pyramid, a higher level of understanding, is being able to apply the knowledge, analyze it, synthesize something new, and evaluate information. Active learning is applicable at the higher levels of the learning pyramid, and for this reason it goes well beyond traditional education that focuses mostly on understanding and remembering. Another educational approach that is relevant is experiential learning. Experiential learning was introduced by the researcher Kolb. Kolb said that learning is the result of experience. The development of knowledge is the result of experience. Typically, according to Kolb, a new situation takes place, a new experience happens, or there is a reinterpretation of an existing experience. This new event moves students to see if there are any inconsistencies between this experience and their current understanding of the world. As a next step, the student modifies their perception of the world based on the new information. And by applying new ideas, the student builds knowledge. So in Kolb's model of experiential education, experience is what drives learning and is what is turned into knowledge. Examples of experiential education is language learning. When a student learns languages, a lot of the time she goes to the country where the language is spoken, and in this way the student is immersed in the environment where the language is spoken and the culture, and in this way language education is a lot more efficient. Similarly, when a new employee goes into a new work environment, he observes individuals around him to see how they behave and gradually adopts the organizational culture of the new company. This was the theoretical background about what problem-based learning is, and now we will discuss what the Alien project is about and how it engages with problem-based learning. The Alien project aims to introduce problem-based learning as a strategic educational approach in higher education, with the objective of bridging the skills gap between academia and industry and promoting the transferability of knowledge from academia to the world of work. The objectives of the project are very much in line with the challenges of higher education today. Higher education is in need of building knowledge for growth, building knowledge that is relevant in industry and society. In addition, higher education institutions need to modernize educational practices, to adopt emerging pedagogical design, such as problem-based learning, to use digital technologies in the classroom, and to use open educational content, again, many times in digital form. However, despite the benefits of problem-based learning, currently it is not very widely used. The reason why problem-based learning is not used is, first of all, because infrastructure is not adequate. A lot of universities don't have the correct infrastructure, or they don't have any infrastructure at all. There is a lack of digital applications that can be used for learning, and there is a lack of digital services that promote collaboration in educational contexts. And finally, there is a need to build educator skills. Educators need to understand the benefits of problem-based learning, to be able to integrate digital technology in their learning practices, and most importantly, to be comfortable to relinquishing control of the classroom, because problem-based learning is an approach that is heavily student-centered. The Alien project aims to address all of these challenges that inhibit the deployment of problem-based learning in higher education. The project is implemented by 17 partners in Europe and Asia, and more specifically in Portugal, Estonia, the United Kingdom, Bulgaria, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Nepal, Pakistan, and Greece. The way the project aims to address the challenges that inhibit the deployment of problem-based learning is, first of all, the development of physical labs in Asian universities for alleviating infrastructure challenges, the development of a digital problem-based learning platform that promotes collaboration in the classroom in the context of problem-based learning activities, and building instructor capacity both through training and through a community through which instructors can exchange best practices in the context of special interest focus groups. The project focuses on Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is one of the fastest developing economies in the world, with a growth rate that is 6.1% expected for the period between 2019 and 2023. While not all countries face the same challenges, there are some common interests in the countries that are represented in the consortium through partner organization. These are that they all face challenges both in terms of the supply of higher education, meaning to have enough higher education organizations and programs, and in the demand for higher education, meaning individuals willing to go and study. They need to produce competitive graduates to fight unemployment, and in general they need to have more effective higher education programs. How are these high-level objectives implemented in the ALIEN project? First of all, we will discuss the development of infrastructure. The labs that are built at Asian universities aim to engage students in doing things, in active approaches, and also to promote higher collaboration, engagement and interactivity in the classroom. We will give you some examples of labs that have already been developed. The first lab is the one at the University of Malaya in Malaysia. And in this lab, the lab provides Arduino and Raspberry Pi equipment for building projects. So this is really learning by doing, by creating something. Workstations for people to access digital applications. Smart TVs for sharing information. They're used as projectors. Writable surfaces for communicating ideas. And a 3D printer for printing prototypes. The lab is organized in small islands around which students can form groups and work collaboratively. Another example of a lab is at the University of Battambang in Cambodia that includes workstations and projectors for collaboration. And similar setups we have at the Institute of Technology in Cambodia with workstations and smart TVs. Only in this case the workstations are in the form of laptops. And similar setup also at Minche University in Cambodia. Another example is the University of Tenaga Nasional in Malaysia, where there are again islands with workstations where students can collaborate and smart TVs for sharing information. And a similar setup exists at the von Neumann Institute in Vietnam with workstations and smart TVs. And a similar setup exists also at Tribhuvan University in Nepal, where students can work together with workstations in small groups. More labs are on the way in another 4 institutions, and the labs will be complete before the end of the calendar year. In terms now of the digital learning platform, the platform is a repository of problems that teachers and students can access and they can use in problem-based learning activities. Problems are categorized according to the discipline, for example, electrical engineering, fluid mechanics, computer science, and they include, they all use digital tools. So the problems that are present in this repository all aim to promote the use of digital technology in problem-based learning contexts. There is a wide variety of problems that have been introduced by educators at partner organizations and also by educators beyond partner organizations. When an educator or a teacher reviews a problem, they can see a general overview, and then the problem also provides more detailed information on how to apply the activity in the classroom. The platform also introduces special interest groups on gamification and problem-based learning, artificial intelligence and problem-based learning tools and approaches, problem-based learning in software engineering. And these special interest groups have forums where individuals can go and discuss. Forums also are available for more specific topics on problem-based learning at each country that is represented in the consortium through project partners. The final activity that is performed by the project is instructor training. We mentioned that instructor training is very important because it is instructors that are going to introduce problem-based learning approaches in the classroom. And instructor training is something that takes place in a sequential manner and will take place throughout the duration of the project. So this was our webinar today, presenting the concepts of problem-based learning and how the ALIEN project goes about promoting the adoption of problem-based learning in higher education. And if you would like to see more on the project ALIEN, you can go to the project portal. Thank you for listening, and there will be more webinars in the future.